What's up, guys? It's Kyle, also known as the Panda Man. Another episode of Unlocking Your Inner Strength. I'm sitting on our balcony, me and Ainsley in the Smoky Mountains with a beautiful view. We got here on Sunday. I'm recording this Tuesday. Popped in my head. I'm like, I can't let my podcast streak snap. So I'll do a little short one here with some current events, and there's lessons within that. And then we'll get on to our day. Me and Devin already got a workout in this morning. Walked down a mile. It's pretty steep. Worked out for about 30 minutes. Walked back up a mile. So it's good. It is good. Okay. So last week, I think it was Friday, I'd seen, I don't always see all the comments on my stuff, obviously. We got a lot of channels, a lot of followers. But one of the YouTube shorts that we put up was about, how protein is not the king when it comes to macros, right? And it's secondary in a way, all that stuff compared to fasting. But there was a couple trolls on there that were losing their mind about that. And meanwhile, one of them's profile picture was a picture of a cat. That tells you what type of guy that is. There's no photos of these guys. They're saying, well, you got to check out this doctor, this influencer doctor, who I was familiar with once I saw him because I wanted to see what he was talking about. And he said, this doctor tells you why you need protein to lose weight and why you also need protein to gain weight. So I look at this guy's picture. He's probably about 30 years old, this doctor. And he does fitness competitions, not bodybuilding, fitness, which I always thought was weird. It means you got no legs. And really, I'm looking at just on a quick scroll. Could be a nice guy. This has nothing to do with that. But the only time he seems to be in shape is when he is contest ready. Other than that, he puts up his transformations. I'm like, well, guys, that's the proof right there. What he's doing doesn't work. He does something to stream to get ready for a show, but year round, he's, pudgy, probably 18 to 20% body fat type of guy, which might be good for some, but that's not, to me, an expert by any means. But nonetheless, I say that because of the current events I want to go into. Things are not always as they seem. And if you don't like when I go over non-fitness stuff, then now would be the time to shut this off. Well, the first one, which I think is, maybe I'll finish with that one. Let's start with the first one. The Iran-Israel, what is going on over there, Trump bombing. Now listen to me. Things aren't always what they seem. I always tell the boys, if we happen to hear anything in the mainstream, our premise is we start from whatever the mainstream is telling us. We know that's not the truth. That's where you start. Okay? They're never going to tell you the truth. So let's talk about how this kind of came about, and I'll give you what I know on it. Trump had told Iran, and the more and more I think about this, Trump is just, he's part of it. I hope he's good, but he's just a part of it, I believe. They're all on the same side. They're all playing everybody. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. So he had told Iran 60 some odd days ago, giving you 60 days to dispel your nuclear program. It'll be a price to pay. Israel starts bombing them on day 61. So what the heck is that? Now, Israel is a whole interesting thing as well to really study. You have Israel, the nation state, is not the same Israel in the Bible. So we've been duped into thinking that Israel is our friend. We have to do everything to protect him. Well, how long has the nation state of Israel been around? Since 1960s or something like that? So you got Holy Lands there, but this is completely different. It's been conflated. Now, first of all, Iran, they've been saying they're going to have nuclear capabilities for like the past 40 years. They already have it. They're advanced culture. They have it, right? This ties in a whole nother nuclear thing, which I'll just kind of leave at this. If nuclear weapons exist, I'll say that. Look up Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Look up, there's one scientist that did a lot of research on those. That's a whole nother podcast, though. Okay, so Iran has it, right? Now, Israel is on this warpath. You have the Zionists. You have something called the Khazarian Mafia. Again, those are deeper topics. But who's actually running the world? Who's calling the shots? So think about this. What is Israel doing to Gaza? Now you have the October 7th, I was in Montana when that happened. There were 23, the attacks. That's called a false flag. Those attacks were allowed to happen. Gave Israel the excuse to bomb the living, you know what, out of Gaza. So they say 1,000 and something people died on, Israelis died on that October 7th date. Well, they've killed well over, I believe, 100,000 women and children in Gaza now. Still bombing hospitals, schools, all these types of things. They're committing mass genocide. Israel is. Think about the irony in that. Now, then the other day, Trump says, well, I'm going to give it 2 weeks for Iran, and then I'm going to decide what to do. But all of a sudden, he bombs Iran, and they're making a big deal about it. And there was two possibilities here, right? Trump is completely controlled, and he's a puppet. Or this is the flip side, where maybe he is really just a genius, and he is good, and he's bringing down the deep state, right? He coordinated with Iran. It was a quick way for U.S. to get out of that and kind of end the conflicts. I just seen yesterday, Israel, Iran called a ceasefire. Those 3 sites he hit, 2 of them were already destroyed, and Fordow, that was already moved a long time ago, so they didn't do anything. There was nothing done. It was all optics. They didn't, but or he just got terrible intel. But the people that study this, and I listened to some people that were deep military, deep government, what the hell's the one guy's name? He gave a real good quick synopsis. Ritter's rants. Look that up. Age is getting antsy here. Let's see. 1 second. I'm back. That ain't the indicator here. So for optics, it was either this is our quick way out without getting further involved in this conflict. We're going to dip out. I mean, look, this stuff goes so deep. You got Assad, you got all, don't want to confuse people. But we did that. Now, if that's not the case, like it wasn't a brilliant move, let's say he's just controlled, then he put us in terrible position as American citizens. Absolutely terrible. So those are the 2 options. Things are not always as they seem. How does that apply to your fitness and nutrition? I really want you to just question everything, guys. Again, these guys going insane over the protein thing. Like it was protein derangement syndrome. Like, think about that. It was bananas. Now, second thing I want to go over. I'm a big fan of the Liver King. Liver King is a character, right? I'm a character. Something I've been just natural. I've always been just marched to the beat of my own drummer, but it's something I've studied from a business point of view for a long time as well. Now, my theory with him, success leaves clues. If you watch the documentary or you followed along, he seemed to come out of nowhere, but it wasn't out of nowhere. He was working on this, and then he exploded onto the scene. And then he had the scandal a couple of years ago. Liver King's on steroids. Well, who in their right mind could not tell you that? Like, seriously. Dude is jacked. And you don't get like that naturally, guys. Now, look, you still got to put in the work. Dude is putting a lot of hours in the gym and training, and that is nutrition. That's a key thing. When people think about antibiotics, they think it's easy. No, the people that are using antibiotics are typically working way, way, way harder than people that are not, if they want to take it to that level. And it doesn't just happen. But you had the scandal. Now, when that happened with the Liver King, what happened? All of a sudden, he was all over the national media, the legacy media. His sales actually went up. Any publicity is good publicity. So you had that. And then if you watch the documentary, it seemed to leave it on Netflix that he was kind of a fallen man. So it's kind of like the hero's journey, right? The hero, then they fall, right? He becomes the villain, and now he's going to rise from the ashes. Now, if you've been watching the past few days, it seems like he's, it's just popped up on the algorithm that he's losing his mind. right? He's something's wrong. You don't see his family. He's incoherent. He's babbling about one thing or the other. And it seems to have something to do with Joe Rogan. Now, I think, how you doing?
Hello, how are you?
Good. I think it is a act, personally. I think it's what's the next thing we can do to potentially get on Rogan or get more views or followers. Things aren't always what they seem, guys. Just remember that with everything. Keep your cup empty. Constantly empty so you can put new information in.
This is my son Kyle.
Hey, Kyle.
Don't forget to leave a review or share it. Keep an eye out for cool things I'm working on. And if you need further help, you let me know. Put my number down in the notes if you need coaching, any one of my programs. So, yeah.